Hey, what's up everybody, back with another video, and today I am in Tombstone, Arizona. That's right, home of Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Johnny Ringo, and all the other outlaws and heroes from the Wild Wild West. I mean, this is Tombstone, this is pure Americana. So, you've seen the movie, you've heard all the stories, how much of it's real, how much of it's left. Let's do a quick walkthrough. Let's spin around real quick. One of the first things you see, this is the main street. You see it's blocked off. You come into town that way. American Legion is one of the first buildings on the right. A really good saloon on the corner I frequent. It's called the Four Deuces Saloon. This place right here, I just ate. This is, normally I go in there and they have breakfast. I go in there for breakfast. They have a Doc Holliday's burrito and it is good. And the great thing about that place is you can go in there and get your food and take it over to the pub, or they will walk it over to the pub for you and you can sit either outside on the deck or sit inside, eat your food, and have a nice Bloody Mary. Today I got there just a little too late for breakfast, and so I had the prime rib sandwich, also really good. So definitely hit that place up, especially for breakfast here in town. Up on the other side of the block, one of the first things you see here is the famous OK Corral. Now here's a little bit of fact meets fiction. So everybody always heard of the famous gunfight at the OK Corral between the Earp brothers, Claiborne, Clanton, that stuff. So it actually did not take place at the OK Corral. The gunfight took place down the street, but when a reporter came and wrote about it, he wrote that it was at the OK Corral. So now it's known as the gunfight at the OK Corral, or shootout at the OK Corral, but it actually wasn't there. You can take a ride on one of the stagecoaches here, and they give you a tour around town. You can't hear him, but the guy, the driver up riding, he's got a little headset on, speakers inside the stagecoach, and he'll take you around the city and around the town, give you a little bit of the history. All right, let's keep walking. Just walking a little bit further down the main street here, you see on both sides of the street, it's just little specialty shops, visitor center, art galleries, old time photos. There's 2 or 3 wine tasting places here, or wineries. You can go in there and get your bottles to taste them. Here's a bookstore. Here is an ice cream parlor, tattoo parlor. The ice cream parlor, funny enough, they have one of those Zoltan. Remember the machine in the movie Big with Tom Hanks where he unplugs it or he makes a wish and doesn't know it's unplugged? That was a Zoltan machine. They actually have one in there. Looks just like it. There's some marshals. And unfortunately, I saw the marshals yesterday and I asked if I could fly my drone down here and they said no. I really wanted to fly my drone down this main strip. So, okay, now for the bad news. All this stuff you see here, none of it's original. Unfortunately, there was a fire in Tombstone, which some whiskey barrels caught on fire and burned down most of the town. They got it put out, rebuilt, and then about a year later, another fire came through and absolutely devastated the town of Tombstone. That was pretty much the nail in the coffin for the mining community, which was the original Tombstone. There is one building that's still original on this whole street, and I will show it to you as we get closer. So here's another wine cellar. Here on the corner here, or not the corner where the people are standing outside, Big Nose Kate's Saloon. It's actually a really good place to eat dinner. They usually have live music on the weekends and stuff. It is a full saloon as well, so definitely worth a visit. Little exhibit here is called Tombstone Ghosts and Legends. It's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of cool. You walk through it, it's almost like a little haunted house inside, and it has a video screen of Doc Holliday's ghost. He is your tour guide. It's a little cheesy, but it does take you through, the scenes, and it tells you a little bit about the history of Tombstone, and tells you a little bit about the history that you may not have seen on a movie or may not have read anywhere before. So it's definitely worth a trip going in there. Here on the corner we have Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is a really good place to eat. They have live music on weekends as well. Also a full saloon. All the way across the opposite corner here, Longhorn Restaurant. I ate there last week and I had the French dip with the au jus dipping sauce. Really good place to eat as well. Across the street, it's one of the saloons, Oriental Saloon. It's supposed to be patterned after the original Oriental Saloon and Theater. You probably saw it in the movie Tombstone. They also have live bands on weekends. So this is Doc Holliday's Saloon. I actually frequent this place quite a bit because it is one of the only, it's one of the only pubs or saloons in town that's actually open late. Usually they're open till 2 in the morning on weekends. That and Oriental Palace is usually open pretty late too on the weekends. After about 5 or 6, you'd be amazed that this entire town shuts down. There's not a whole lot to do. Restaurants start to close around 7 or 8. Late at night, the only place in town there is to get anything to eat is Doc Holliday's, and it's just like some literally a Tombstone pizza, some pizza rolls, stuff like that. It's a little bit of bar food. And then out on the other side of town, there's a Circle K. It's open until midnight. So after 8 o'clock at night, those are the only 2 places in town you're going to find anything to eat. So be forewarned. Actually, all the way down at the other end of the street. So all the way down there is where I started. It only took me about 3 or 4 minutes to walk down there. So this is pretty much all that's left of the replica of the original Tombstone, which brings us to the only original building here on the main street. This is the Birdcage Theater. It has been preserved as it was in 1881. So you walk across that threshold, you're walking across this same threshold, standing in the same place where Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, and a lot of the other ones sit. In the movie, you saw the famous the gunfight at the poker table. That poker table's still sitting there. You can go in, you can see the bullet holes. Now I'll tell you a little bit of, well, let me say first, this is the one thing you definitely have to see while you're here because it is the only original thing. So you go in and they'll give you a tour of the theater. I would suggest you wait at night. They'll go in, they'll give you a tour of the theater, tell you all about it. So this is rumored to be haunted. About 5 or 6 different television series and shows have come here, like Ghost Hunters just came here, did things on it. There's all kinds of pictures of phenomenon and stuff there inside. So they will take you in and give you a tour upstairs, downstairs, and then they will sit you in there and turn the lights off for about 20 minutes. They have all kinds of little, spectrometers and things that read all this stuff, and you never know. A lot of people have reported seeing, feeling, smelling, hearing strange things going on. So if nothing else, it's at least worth going in and seeing what it's like in the original and is in its original state. It's pretty cool. The ladies of the night, I think they called them turtle doves maybe. their booths are up there where they worked, and then down on the main floor it's the main stage. And so like I said, you go in there and see what it originally looked like back in 1881 still. Yeah, I'm outside of Birdcage Theater. This is a couple of the things to talk about it. You guys can pause the video to read that if you need to. The people walking around dressed in cowboy, gunslinger outfits. The women are walk around wearing the old corsets with the long skirts and the bloomers. Ladies, I believe Miss Kitty's is one of the places that you can get outfitted at Affect. Yep, I can see corsets. Yep, so I can see corsets in there. So, like I said, you'll see a lot of people dressed like that. A lot of people are part of the street shows, like the gunfight reenactments and stuff. Some people just like that genre. They come here and dress like that. I want to say, some of the restaurants will give you like a 10% discount if you're actually in a costume type thing. So if you're into that, there's plenty of places all up and down the main street where you can get outfitted in your outfit of choice, I guess I would say. So I'm going 1 block off the main street. It's a nice raw honey place. The old Tombstone Fire Company, which I believe is still active. So something else that's really cool to do here, the old Tombstone Consolidated Mine Companies. This is called the Good Enough Mine Underground Tour. So the Good Enough Mine Tour it's a pretty basic tour. Anybody can walk through it. It's really cool. It takes you down the old mine, shows you what the miners went through. So here's a little piece of history for you. A lot of people think Tombstone was this big gunfight, gambler, shoot 'em up town. It really wasn't like that at all. Check this out. His license plates say jailbird. That's what you call a sleeper. So Tombstone wasn't this big Wild Wild West shoot 'em up town like Hollywood portrays it. Tombstone popped up because of the mining. They mine gold, copper, and silver here. And so you had all these miners out here who were making really, really good money back in the day, but there was nothing out here. So the businesses, places started that would give them provisions and stuff would pop up. And then came the saloons, and once the saloons came, then the women came, the women that worked there. And then, once the saloons opened and the gambling came, so it kind of morphed from there. But the entire town of Tombstone was actually built to support the mining community here. So here's one of the original mines still left over here. Like I said, you can go down and do the regular tough, Good Enough Mine Tour, I think is what it's called, or it's called the Tough Nut Mine Tour. So there's a basic tour. It's open to the public. It's really cool. You walk down through there. They'll take you all the way down inside and turn out in pitch black and show you what the miners had to do back then by candlelight, what they did for work. Now, if you're really adventurous, and especially if you got a group of people, they have a mine tour there. It's called the Gerard. So the Gerard Mine Tour. That thing will take you about a half mile underground. It lasts anywhere from 5 to 8 hours, depending on how fast you are and how good of a spelunker you are. But you have to book that in advance. So if that sounds, you're that adventurous, it sounds like something you want to do, look that up online, contact them, and make arrangements to do the Gerard. If you do the Gerard tour, I haven't done it yet. I'm working on getting some people together. So if you do the Gerard tour, or if you have done the Gerard tour, please post a message and let me know how it was. Next to the mine there, This is, I don't know if it's still functional. The building's still here. I see stuff inside. This is the owned by the same mine company. It's a trolley tour. They also have a trolley tour across the street. They're not the same. They're two different companies, just FYI. But if you take the trolley tour, pretty cool. Take you all around town. They will take you out, like way back up there, drive you back up the area, point out some of the old mine shafts that are still opening, like the vents. They'll take you all the way out to the other side of town, Boot Hill Cemetery. I'll probably drive out there and show you where that is in a little bit. But they really, the whole time you're on that tour, they tell you about the real history of Tombstone. So like I said, it's the not Hollywood version, not you know, studio Hollywood version of it. So they'll tell you what it was really like and how it was there back then. Sort of that, old Tombstone Western town. So go back in here. They have a cantina back in here. They have mini golf, putt-putt. So if you want to do mini golf, they do have a like a facade of a little town back there, and they will do a gunfight show. That's one of the things I did. I forgot to tell you. You can also go in and they'll do a gunfight reenactment in the OK Corral. So you can go in there and do a tour also. But just keep walking back and you go back into the old little town here. So there's the shows, the gunfight shows, 11:30, 1 and 3 o'clock, 8 today. It's a little cantina. You can come back here and grab you something to drink while you're waiting on the gunfight to start. We'll walk over here and poke my head through. So you can grab your beer there, come over here and sit. So there's your prices for the stuff here. Then this is the facade of the town where they put on the gunfight show. I went to this about 1.5 years ago. Definitely worth it. It's kind of a comedy show too, so it's a good time. Stone Territory Cemetery. So here's your putt-putt golf course or mini golf. Now I was over here last weekend and I was looking back and I noticed this. I never noticed it before. I guess this is the original place that they used to do the gunfights. So I'm not sure why they abandoned that and built the one up here, but still there. An abandoned town within an abandoned town. I should probably address the hotel situation here is not that great. They don't have that many hotels. There are no big chain hotels, like you won't see a Marriott or a Holiday Inn or anything like that here. I think maybe it's zoned that way on purpose. And a lot of the hotels here, or there's hotels, there's guest houses, there's small hotels, there's bed and breakfast. So a lot of the places don't advertise on like booking.com, Trivago, hotels.com. So yeah, Google Tombstone, find the official Tombstone homepage, and there's one that's even like lodging in Tombstone. It has a lot of those that don't advertise on the big sites there. So one thing to think about before you come here. I think maybe Sierra Vista is the next closest town away. It's about 15 or 16 miles away. So just be cognizant of that when you think about coming to Tombstone. One of the things that I wanted to show you guys before I left Tombstone is some special friends of mine. So let's check them out. And I learned if you carry apples, baby. The little ones don't usually come up that close to you. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and give you this. So the house that sits here on the corner. Oh, I'm sorry, hon. The house sits here on the corner and they put feeders out in the yard. That's why they come up. Oh, so close. But as you see, if you make any little jump or any little movement, they're still pretty skittish. Here, mama. And lucky for them, I've got a whole bag of apples in the trunk of my car. And unlucky for me, I now have deer slobber on my hand from where I picked up that apple after chewing on it. First started my video, I pointed out the cafe where it says a good place to go for breakfast. Right on the corner is the Four Deuces Saloon. So I'm one block over. Here's the city courthouse. This is on the historical register. So when you do some of the tours and they tell you about this, I think when you do the trolley tour, they tell you there used to be a large Chinese community here back in the Wild Wild West, and they were the ones that worked like all the restaurants and did things like that. So they actually had a brick press, and I believe they said they had a press here, and I believe that they said this was built by the Chinese workers. See, it's listed as on the state historic site, and I believe their foundry brick press, whatever that thing's called, is over here. Yeah, it is. Back there, everybody's looking at it. So that's one of the things they originally used to make the bricks that actually built the courthouse. And you can go in and do tours of the courthouse inside as well. You just walk past the courthouse, so if you keep the courthouse on your left and you keep walking down the street 1 block past the courthouse, one of my other favorite places is the Tombstone Brewing Company. Brewing Company, good grief. Fun place. They have live music on the weekends. I think maybe Thursday. I think they're open Thursday through Sunday. I'll have to go in here and look. Hopefully the same lady is working yesterday that told me I could film it here today. So Tombstone Brewery, so you can see the vats and stuff back there where they actually make their own beer process. I don't know if they do tours or not. Not sure. So they have 8 beers they tap and they rotate. There's never the same ones in here. It just depends on what they brew and what they have left over. So it's 8 on tap. You can get, obviously, what is it? I mean, looking up here, 60-ounce draft. Some of them are half liters. The pills are half liters. They also these small growlers. You get growlers to go. Shirt. All sort of paraphernalia. And so they have 8 on tap, but then they have all these they make here as well. And I mean, they make everything. They have a Buck Nutty, a nut brown ale. They have a Welsh Pils. I haven't had that yet. Neoclassic American Pils. This one's pretty good. It's called Father of the Pils. They have this on tap. This they tried to make as a clone of the Pilsner Urquell from Czech Republic. It's pretty good stuff. Cerveza original. So, like I said, definitely one of the places you have to stop when you come to Tombstone. Stop in here, have a beer, 2. You like see something in the cooler you like, grab a 4-pack, 8-pack, whatever you want to go. So definitely stop in here. Said they were there open Thursday to Sunday. No, they're open 7 days a week, 11 to. Short drive out of town is the famous Boot Hill Cemetery. So a lot of those people you learn about, all the legends, the villains, the cowboys, the heroes that you learn about while you're in Tombstone, that's where a lot of them are buried. So they called this Boot Hill because back then people were shot, killed, and buried so quick. A lot of people out here were buried with their boots on. I think it's $5 to go in, something like that. And they'll give you a little pamphlet and it tells you about all these graves here. So some of the Clanton brothers that died in the shootout to OK Corral, they're buried here. China Mary, who basically ran the entire Chinese business in town, she's buried here. There's quite a few local heroes and villains both buried out here. So it's definitely worth a stop as well. That's going to do it from Tombstone for today. Why do I say that? Because I said there's one thing you have to do while you're here, and that's going to Birdcage Theater. There's actually 2 things that you have to do while you're here. Unfortunately, the other one's not, and I can't show you till tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't show you till tomorrow, so I just wanted to tell you before all of a sudden this cuts screen and I reappear wearing a different shirt. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm back at Tombstone, and I said I had to show you something, but I wanted to stop by and see my buddies one more time, so see if I can get them to come out. I've got a few of them looking at me here. Button bug right behind her. Change your mind yet? Nope. We got past the fear stage. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm in the car. So when you first come into Tombstone from the Sierra Vista area, you'll get to a T intersection. So you have to go left or you have to go right. If you go right, it takes you out to the main street in Tombstone where I filmed from yesterday. And if you go left, it takes you out past the Newstone Cemetery where I am now. You go about 1.5 miles out and you will see 2 things of interest out here. Not this old dried up creek bed. So this thing, I should have kind of filmed it from a little further back there. Through the trees here, it looks like an old pyramid almost. If you can see it up through the trees there. That is the founder of Tombstone, Ed Shefflin. That's his resting place. He wanted to be buried under a 25-foot mock-up of what an old claim stake looks like, so they built him one out there. You can drive up to it. There's a plaque out there that tells you about it. Just go straight at the fork in the road. If you go left, it's the other place I wanted to show you. And I'm going to turn to the sun for just a second. Sorry about that. So this is the Tombstone Monuments Guest Ranch. It is a, I'm trying to turn the camera a little bit so we're not looking directly in the sun. As you can see by the horses out here. This is a full-fledged and fully operational ranch. You can stay out here. It's a hotel, doubles as a hotel, guest house. They have a swimming pool. You can book trail rides on the horses and things like that. And I remember seeing a fire pit out here with a coffee kettle. I think they do like cowboy coffee right over in this area. And so if you look up the Tombstone Monuments Guest Ranch on the internet, they do have a page and it explains all the activities they have out here. People rent out, like the big barn, they rent it out for wedding receptions and things like that as well. They do have a restaurant in here. So if you're not staying out here and you want to come out here and eat, it's best to try to call and get reservations first, because sometimes they do book up pretty quick. But I'm going to get up here, park, and then show you what I came out here to show you. In the middle of the Tombstone Monuments Ranch. Funny enough, this mock-up, these are actually the hotel rooms where you can stay if you come in. Then you go all the way up here to the old, what does this say? The saloon, basically, on the premises. It's where the restaurant is. It's where the saloon and bar is. And so what I wanted to show you guys is there's a man who plays out here on Thursday evenings from 6 to 9 and Sunday evenings from 5 to 9. His name's Johnny Bencomo. He's the only 18-string guitar player in the U.S. He has 3 custom-made 18-string guitars, and he is definitely worth you coming out to see. He's a young age of 74, so if you're going to be in the area, I would definitely suggest you come out and see him while you have a chance. So we'll go ahead and sign off, because when I come out it's going to be dark. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the show. Shot of the bar on the inside before he starts playing again, in between sets. It's a full-fledged old Western saloon. And then Johnny's up front playing. He's just tuning in between songs right now.
It's an awful awakening in this guitar man's life, to see you look in the mirror in mortal fright, at the silver in your hair and the age in your fate should have made you a gentleman's bride. Amanda, light of my life, fate should have made you a gentleman's bride. There's a measure of people that don't understand the battles in life of this old guitar man. I got my first guitar when I was 14. I'm now 74 and still picking strings. Oh, Amanda, It should have made you a gentleman's bride. Amanda, love of my life. Thank God he made you this guitar man's wife. From Douglas, Arizona, back home to the ranch in Leslie Canyon somewhere. His dad met him at the ranch gate, and he said, give me your books. I want you to go over the hill and check this water trough. We ain't been there in a couple of weeks. And so he did. He crossed the 2-mile hill. Down at the bottom was the water trough, and he saw this hermit sitting on it. And he got a little bit spooked. So he sat there deliberating. So he cowboyed up and he reined his pony down there and kept staring at this old hermit. And the old man saw what was happening, so he spoke to this little boy in the kindest voice he could come up with, friendly. And so Stanley Jones relaxed, and he saw that he had been taking care of the water trough. So he visited, and then this time of day come by, the wind picked up. The hermit says, Stanley Jones, it's time you best get on home, boy. Because it's time for them ghost riders to come out. If they catch you out here, they're going to haul you off and never to come back down. Well, this scared this kid all to pieces. He got on that pony, stretched him out all the way home, made it safely, because they didn't catch him. 10 years later, he's running the ranch for the folks, because that kind of work is detrimental to your physical structure. It breaks you down. He went up to the same place, and he sat there on the hill looking at that water trough, remembering the hermit. That night he wrote this here song. And the first band to record it was not Johnny Cash, or the Sons of the Pioneers, or Frankie Lane, or Peggy Lee. It was the man that sang, Have a Happy Jolly Christmas. It was a real lives. He was an up-and-coming folk singer, so he didn't go big with that. Vaughn Monroe later the next year recorded it and went phenomenally big. Brought it to the attention of everybody in the West. This is the way I do this here song. Ghost Riders in the Sky. wandered through the skies, where he saw the riders coming hard. And he heard their mournful riders in the sky. Their faces caught, their eyes, their tears shook to sore sweat. They're riding hard to catch a herd, but they ain't caught it yet. 'Cause they gotta ride forever in that range up in the sky. On horses snorting fire as they ride on, hear their cry. Oh, riders in the sky. As the rider looked on by him, he stopped and called his name. Todd. Up here, cowboy. My, you look scared. What'd you do? See a ghost? You gotta sing a soulful hell of riding on the rain. And cowboy, change your ways as you ride, trying to catch a devil's herd across these endless skies.